when we are looking at the standalone visit of PM Modi to Israel, we are looking at it from the positive side. When we are talking about defense, when we are talking about golden horizon, when we are talking about strategic cooperation. But we are forgetting that this meet could be the setting ground of unsettling the ties that India has made with Iran and the Arab world as well. Because if India signs up for what Israel is planning in form of Hexagonal Alliance and more, India would have to give up on the multi-alignment that it has been talking about. So yes, this summit has a lot to offer, but at the same time, this summit has a lot that India needs to consider. Hello everyone, welcome to Vajram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh, and today we are going to look into that why India has to be very cautious in this standalone meet, because geopolitical headwinds are coming through and how India might have to navigate this. So when we are talking about this particular summit itself, the most important thing that we have to understand is that why it is geopolitically sensitive. First of all, it is a standalone meeting. That means it is our Prime Minister meeting the Israel counterpart only. So that means no other engagement is involved, and this is coming after 2017. So that raises the bar, even with the fact that we are strategic partners. So the first time visit of PM Modi happened back in 2017, and after this is coming as symbolically significant. But what makes it geopolitically sensitive is the fact that Gaza war aftermath is unfolding. We don't know where the reconstruction, rehabilitation and the Gaza peace plan is headed to. We don't know what will be the situation of Iran and US and where and what side the axis might fall. And we also don't know where, once this is done, how the West Asia will align. And amidst this, India is as equally involved and will be part of impact as the Middle East Asia is. So the important question here for India is, if India is trying to deepen strategic partnership with Israel in this meet, if we are putting Israel in focus amidst all of this, are we undermining what we have with Iran? Are we letting go of what we have developed over years with the Arab world? And are we navigating, or we are focusing on navigation of diplomatic minefield? Because one step with one party is going to upset the other, and we don't want to be in a situation, because we plan to carry them parallelly. Now, once we are talking about this summit itself, the second important factor that we need to consider is what is on the agenda. Is the agenda about other things that make it sensitive? So as of now, the agenda specifically addresses defense and security, which includes technological access for India mostly, where they are focusing on UAVs, missile systems, especially Golden Horizon is under huge discussion. I have discussed this already in a detailed video, you can go and watch that. Counter-terrorism coordination and intelligence sharing. So the second thing on agenda is technology and AI. Be it joint innovation platforms, semiconductor and deep tech collaboration, especially from the context of Pax Silica, because this is where you will find both countries are present as members and India has recently joined in, and startup ecosystem linkage. Apart from that, other two important things on agenda are trade and labor and connectivity in form of India, Middle East, Europe corridor. So when we are talking about IMEC, this is where India also has a lot of stake involved, and at the same time this stands as a counter to China's Belt and Road Initiative. So when we are looking at it in form of agenda, it does not seem like that something might upset the other diplomatic partners that India has. But don't be sure as of now, because there is a proposal that has come through Israel, and that is of Hexagonal Alliance. Few months back, we were talking about anti-Islamic NATO alliance. This is something very similar to that, because Netanyahu has proposed that there will be an alliance which will include not just India, but Greece and Cyprus and certain select, please focus on the word select, Arab as well as African Asian nations. And what they want to counter? They want to counter radical Sunni and Shia axis. Now, when we are looking at the parties, Greece, Cyprus, they have their arch rivals and issues with Turkey. So they definitely want to target Turkey. When we are talking about Israel, the proposer of this whole alliance, it has always had issues with the Arab world, be it with Saudi Arabia, be it with Iran, and be it with others. And when we are proposing it like that, India entering into such an alliance, it not only goes against our partnership with the Arab world and Iran, it will be projected as anti-Islamic, that India stands for this particular cause. So this is something very difficult for India to accept as a proposal or even to understand in this very context. And it has regional sensitivities involved. Religious sensitivities, yes, regional also, because the countries which will be affected are the following. And when we are talking about Iran and Saudi Arabia, India enjoys warm partnerships with them. When India enjoys energy ties with Gulf monarchies, be it Qatar, we have connectivity interests placed in Iran, and we have a strategic autonomy doctrine which will be compromised when we are joining such blocs. Because in the past, even in present, we have always talked about standing for what we want, but not promoting bloc-based issues. Rising to the occasion, using the platform, but at the same time, we have feigned away, we have stayed away from such blocs. Even when you talk about Pax Silica, we did not join it at the formation because we wanted to understand that what was at the table. What was exactly what was targeted and what was the objective. Once it was outlined, that is when India entered into that alliance. So at the same time, this proposal makes it a very difficult situation for India to negotiate, and this proposal makes it a very difficult situation for India to navigate. And add to that, we have two other important factors that India needs to consider, because if India at all is going to consider this, it is going to affect India-Iran relations, it is going to reduce the trade volume, it is going to impact our Chabar port ambitions, and we are going to compromise our gateway to Afghanistan and also Central Asia. Apart from that, if you look at from the geopolitical angle, you have to understand that US is threatening Iran, correct? US is the one going up against Iran. And there has already been an advisory which has been issued by Indian embassies for Indian citizens in Iran to remain safe and evacuate also. So in this context, if India at all reacts also to this, we will appear that we are aligned against Iran as of now. And if we look at another important angle, that India is going to host BRICS summit this year, and it is important that Iranian president does come. He is expected to be participating. But if we are going to balance Israel ties more, we might alienate Iran. And we don't want to do that. So we have a very tight rope to walk where we will be, yes, balancing Israel ties, but we have to focus on not alienating Iran. Another dimension that makes this summit a difficult place for India is the Gaza situation. Because as of now also Gaza is going through huge havoc. 70,000 plus deaths at least on paper are appearing, and international criticism of Israeli operations are on. Furthermore, Israel is not shying away from West Bank expansion plan. They are planning to extend their control into Palestinian Authority territories, and as of now, India has delayed signing the UN criticism statement against Israel. So that means if we are not signing this, we are facilitating what is happening here. We are not condemning it. That is again a problematic situation for India, because traditionally India has supported two-state solution and it has also supported strong ties with Arab world. But as of now, what we are seeing, that India is converging towards Israel. And we are playing only an observer role. We are not able to do anything with US Gaza reconstruction initiative. So what will be said by our Prime Minister will be a global statement on how and what our posture is going to be in the global landscape. Now another factor that I want to introduce here is, now the last dimension that I want to discuss here is the implications. So if we are talking about Israeli domestic politics, which is not important from the perspective of exam, but Israel, yes, is heading towards election. This particular meet where it would be very much about connecting with the diaspora, speaking at Knesset and much more. So this is going to be a highlight point. But at the same time, we cannot ignore the US factor, which is thoroughly ingrained and involved with Israel meetup. So as of now, when we are looking forward towards the gains, it is also very important to look into the navigation that India has to do, not just in form of diplomacy, but also many other factors, so as to assure that we only gain partners, not lose. So that was all from my side. Thank you so much.